So, can you introduce yourself to me and what your role was in the library?
Yes, I'm David Gregory. I was the dean of the library and here for several years.
So, what was the library like when you first started working here?
When I first started working here, um, I actually worked here in the library for um, several years. Um, I um, when I came, Elsie Pritchard was the dean of the library, and so she was dean for um, quite quite a few years, and of course there had been deans before that um, that um, I didn't really know so much about, but Elsie is the person that hired me to come to work for her, actually, and, to do other things for her. Um, and my role was mostly to sort of help her, um, and really part of the responsibilities I had. Um, Elsie had a group of people who worked under her, and she wasn't um, a people person really, and all the people who did um, things like um, working in um, the um, things like um, um, cataloging and things like that, um, and then other types of things, even things that like downstairs or being at the desk and so forth. She um, um, let those people work um, under her, and so when I came, then I became sort of her person that I watched over those people, and I watched over other things that she didn't really want to deal with so much. And so that's where I first started. Um, and I came here from um, I came here from Ham, Henry County. So yeah, we've lived several places. So, but we came from Henry County, and my wife didn't, and my family didn't come with me. I was here without them for quite a while before they got to come here, and so, and then finally, my wife Kathy came, and she got to be here for a while. So yeah, so um, and she worked here as well. So so that's where I came from, and I had been um, in a different position in um, Henry County, but also I worked in at um, um, school um, that was um, Southern Baptist Yeah, it was the Southern Baptist. Um, what do you call it though? Seminary, yeah. And so um, I was there, and I had um, a lot of um, things that I had to do there, and so. Um, but then we came here, and when we came here, um, then that all changed. So
How'd you get the role as dean?
um, the role of dean, Elsie Pritchard was the dean when I came, as I said, and the provost at that point was a lady that, well, Elsie was under the provost, and she and the she well, I'm trying to say this is she retired, but she retired because Elsie and she had a disagreement, and Elsie didn't like what the provost said, and she um, decided to retire because the provost wasn't going to go along with what Elsie wanted her to do. Along those lines, though, her husband was wanting her to retire too, so it was sort of a good thing for her. So, but that's how I came into the office, because the provost asked me, well, what kind of things have you done? And I had worked in Henry County and at the seminary and so forth, and so she just said, well, I'm giving it to you. So that's where it was at that time.
Did you have any involvement in expanding the library's collection or introducing new programs or services?
We started trying to do that, and we did. We worked on trying to do anything that we could to bring more things into the library, and also to help with people who would come into the library and give more attention to the way that we could service the people of Morehead, and have the facilities and things that they could come in and be here and see how things can run, and that people could come in and get books and do all sorts of things, and have places to be and study, and let the students study, and that was one of our big emphasis, especially um, I was very interested in helping students and making sure that um, the, the the students had um, all the things that they need, but also with the people who were working and who were um, so involved in everything that was done. The people who did the cataloging, and the people who and the catalogers. Um, um, she still does that, and she's been there for so long. Um, Pamela Collier has just been a wonderful person to have been doing this for so long, and there were other people who do that. I also um, I can tell you this, that um, um, the president of the school, I, he met me at another when he was working at another place, and I knew him, and that's how he got here. Is that I said, well, we've got a position here at Morehead, and we had talked where he was before, and that's how he became here to be the president, and he has been a good friend of mine for a long time, and so
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, we were from um, the other part of the state, and he worked, and we just happened to know each other, and when and I said, well, we've got a position, and he said, well, and so he came. So, yeah, and we've been friends for a long time.
That's really cool. What role do you believe the library plays in supporting the academic and research goals in Morehead State University?
Oh, the goals are to, in my thought, are to help the students as much as they can be helped, and to have as much of an influence for other people that come into the library who need any kind of help. A library has so many resources that can be helped every bit of the way. People come in to find, where do I find this? Where do I find that? But they also can find, well, can we get together and study together, and can we work together and you know, do we have someone who can tell us where this book would be found, or where we can sit and talk, or where we can be together. And then it's also for the library. I found this library to have so many resources, and many of the resources are the people themselves who work here and who do so much of the work and the influence here, and they've been so, in my time, and I'm sure it's still the same, that they are just gracious to help anybody. And I've rarely seen anybody say, "No, I just can't help you." Everybody has always been just wonderful about that.
That's great. What do you think makes the Camden-Carroll Library unique compared to other universities?
Well, again, I think the fact that people here feel like it's their place, not just Camden-Carroll Library, but people who live here at Morehead. Morehead is a wonderful place to live, and I think that too is a real thing that is very important that a lot of other places don't have. But in the time I've been here, I've seen people work so much together and care for each other, and I think that's a very, very strong thing for the students, for the people who teach, for the people who come in that need resources, or just come in to see the library. I mean, people come in and they have whatever. It's a family, and I think that's. I mean, you can tell that family is a big thing for me and my wife and our family, and we've enjoyed it. And she's worked here, and we've and then my daughter Anna has worked here now and for a long time, and we've just it's just a part of us. So.
If you could give any advice to current or future librarians or library administrators, what would it be?
For administrators, I would say find ways to make even more possibilities for strengthening what the library can be and what they can have, and to bring in more, give more money for um, for using the library, and then I would say for um, helping to see that people in the community can come into the library, but they need to know that the library is here. There are, we found, when I was the dean, we found that people didn't realize that they could come in and use the library and even check out library books. And I think that's a real, I think for any library anywhere, that's an important part of librarianship, and it's an important part of um, not just the library, but everything that's here, everything that we have in this school, in this region, where we give this region so much. You know, it's the whole region here is ours, and we need to support all of this area, and you can tell I'm very concerned about that, and hope that more people understand the value of being in Morehead and helping people in Morehead. So.
Do you have like any memorable moments or experiences from your time at the library?
Well, there's several times. um, goodness. I remember when I first came. Um, there were some issues. Of course, there's also always some issues about the facilities, and one year we had a really just very cold winter. It was just harsh, and we couldn't find enough heaters. We couldn't find, and the heaters that we found, they'd go out, and I mean, and I don't know if they still do that now, but hopefully not. But we had, and we had just had to find places that it was warm enough to be in the library. And then a couple of years, we could barely get into the library because of the ice coming down off of the hill, and people fell coming down the hill. My wife actually, my daughter actually did that at one point, and it was kind of, you know, it was not real safe, but we had the library open anyway, and but there were times that they just couldn't get the heat to work well enough to come, and so, but through the years they worked through that, and I think it's much better now than it used to be. So I think it's been very that people have worked very well to try to get that done. So, I mean, I remember one time actually, and that we had water just coming through the library because something had burst because of the ice, and it just the water was just coming out, and we were trying our best to get it stopped. So, but it wasn't because it was, somebody had done something wrong. It was just the weather and everything. So.
You miss working here?
I thought I would, and I honestly had at a point after I retired that I had a hard time with it, being at home and things. But I've enjoyed being able to be home, and we have six grandchildren who live with us half the time, and we enjoy them very much, and I get to be with them, and I don't have to be at work, and yeah, it's a much less stress. And I also, while I was the dean of the library here, I was also I was the music person for our church, and did that for a long time as well. So I was doing this job and that job at the same time. So yeah, I'm happy at not having so much stress, but I really miss the people. I've got so many friends here, and really miss being able to talk to them and see them. So.
Do you have any final questions or comments?
No, I don't think so. But tell Deidre that I want to see him when he actually we had an event at our church, and he actually came just to see me. So tell him anytime he can that he wants to, he's welcome to come see me. So, or let me know.